So today what you're going to do is take a quiz or assessment for scaled copies. And what I'm going to do before you take this quiz, you need to make sure you watch this whole video, and we're going to go over a few examples to kind of help you as you take your quiz, okay? So first thing, I've got these two figures, and I want to know the angle that corresponds to ABC, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight it for you so you can see it a little better here. And if you need to highlight on your quiz, you can always edit that document, okay? So ABC, and we're looking for corresponding angles. So we're going to look at the same segments. So we're going to go from P to Q to R. So my answer here is P, Q, R. And then name the segment in the scaled copy that corresponds to segment AD. And remember, we said segment is just a line. So I've got segment AD. What corresponds to that on the second scale copy, or on the scaled copy, is P to S. So it's in the exact same place in the original and the copy. Okay, so line PS. And that line above the PS just means line PS or segment PS. You don't have to write that, but I would prefer if you did. So when we name things later, we'll know. Okay? And if I was just asking for a corresponding point to C, it would be R to S, D to P, A, things like that. All right, and then we're going to talk about scale factor. So scale factor, remember, is the number we multiply by to go from one original to the copy. So we're going to measure this figure. So we're going to write down the measurements that we know. If I go from B to C, that's not a very easy thing to measure, but I can measure AB and AD. So let's do AB. So that is 1 unit or 1 square. AD is 2 squares, 1, 2. PQ would be 1.5 or 1.5. See how it doesn't go all the way down? And PS would be 3. Okay? Now, when we did scale factor, I'm going to label the first one A and the second one P. So let's write down what we have. We have side 1, and the corresponding side here is 1.5. Then I have side 2, and the corresponding side here is 3. Okay? And we want to know the scale factor. Remember, the scale factor is the number we multiply by. So we're going to say 1 times something equals 1.5, and 2 times something equals 3. Let's look at the first part. We know that any number times 1 is that number. So 1 times 1.5 equals 1.5. 2 times, let's check and see if it's 1.5 here. I know that 1 times 2 is 2, and I know that half of 2 is 1, so 2 plus 1 gives me 3. So we know it is 1.5, okay? So our scale factor is that number we're multiplying by, so it is 1.5, okay? Whoops. All right, let's do another example. Our second example, we're just trying to figure out, is figure B a scaled copy of figure A? Now, I've written these questions down for you, but these are not going to be in your quiz. You have to know the corresponding sides have the same scale factor, and all corresponding angles are equal. Those are two things that must be true for figures to be scaled copies. So let's do the first one. Let's do this one first, the angles, okay? So I know angle D, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to say angle D equals 120. Does angle H equal 120? It does. Don't y'all miss those bells? Let's look at angle C. Angle C equals 120. Does that equal angle G? Yep, angle G is 122. Okay, let's look at angle A. Angle A is 60 degrees. Is angle E 60 degrees? Yep, it is. And then the very last one, angle B, and then angle F. They're both 60 degrees. So we know that all corresponding angles are equal. So that's one thing to be true. Now, let's look at the scale factor. So let's go from A to B, okay? So segment DC at the top is 2. Segment HG is 1. Segment AD is 4. Segment EH is 3. I've got CB is 4, GF is 3, AB is 6, and EF is 4. These are all my corresponding sides or segments. So let's see if our scale factor is the same for all of these. Remember, that's the number we're multiplying by. 2 times what number gives us 1? Well, we know that 1 is half of 2, so 2 times 1/2 gives us 1. Let's see if that works. 4 times 1/2. What is half of 4? It's 2. Well, does that equal 3? No, so that doesn't work. Guys, if we know that this is not the scale factor for every single one, we don't have to do the rest of them, okay? So your work for this on the quiz, if it were not going to be a scale factor or if it was going to match up, this would be your number 2. So your number 2, you could say not same scale factor or something like that. And your work or your explanation for why it's not the same would be this. So no, they are not copies. So this would be your explanation, okay? So remember on your quiz, do not just write no or yes when it says, is figure B a scaled copy of figure A? You have to explain it. Show me how the angles are equal. Show me how the scale factor is the same or not the same, okay? All right, one more example from our missing side lengths. So we want to know figure 2 is a scaled copy of figure 1, find the missing side. And so X here, which is this value right here, or this side right here, is the missing side. So I've got figure 1, I've got figure 2. I know that one length in figure 1 is 72, and the corresponding is our X. I know that 60 is in figure 1, and the corresponding is 40. And I want to know what X is equal to. Remember, the first thing we need to do is find our scale factor. So 60 times some number gives me 40. Remember, I can use the inverse operation to figure this out if it's going smaller. So I'm going to, instead of multiplying 60 times something, I'm going to divide, and I'm going to use my product 40 as my numerator. 40 divided by 60. Don't divide 60 by 40 because you're getting smaller. We need this to be a fraction less than 1. I can simplify this into 4 over 6. I can even simplify it more into 2/3. So I know that 60 times 2/3 is equal to 40. Because these are scaled copies, I know that my scale factor is the same in the first set of corresponding parts. So let's do 72 times 2/3. Excuse me there. So I'm going to do 72 over 1 times 2 over 3. 72 times 2, remember multiplying fractions, we multiply straight across. I get 144 and divide that by 3. And I can divide this out. 144 divided by 3, I get 48. Okay? And so that means that my missing side X is equal to 48 feet. And that's my answer. Okay, so make sure that you find your scale factor and then use that when you're finding the missing side. And then please, please, please always circle your answers. So for this one, I circled it. It's very easy for me to see that your answer is 48 feet. For this one, I wrote it very large. You would circle it and explain it. For these, I had to put them in the box, but if you have extra room in yours, please make sure you circle your answers, okay? Good luck on your quiz, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.